Alright. Swap that over. And yes, for anybody who is attempting to watch on Twitch, I am very aware that the live streaming service for Twitch is not currently working, but for some reason it's recording it on Twitch. I honestly have no idea what's going on. Ever since my last stream to Twitch, I have not touched the settings. I have not done a single thing different. I have not received any updates. I have not received any changes to anything, but still Twitch just decides, hey, I'm not gonna stream. I'm not gonna stream for you. I'm not feeling it right now. So what it does is it opens a blank screen. If you go like watch live on Twitch right now, it'll open a blank screen. It won't show anything, but it'll like there'll be a video like watch the most recent stream that just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. It won't update it live. You literally have to like watch whatever's there and then refresh it and it will extend for no reason. But regardless, that's just the explanation for why my Twitch stream is currently black and blank. It's very dumb. Twitch has something wrong with it. And that's the only explanation at this point. There's just something wrong with it. But, regardless, we're gonna get into some beautiful, beautiful patch notes for Smite 2. We finally know what's going to happen when Smite 2 goes into 24/7. To start with, most importantly, the two new gods that are showing up, Mordred on the left, Jingwei on the right. Mordred is an entirely new Smite 2 exclusive god who has some pretty neat mechanics so far. He's a split god, so intelligence and strength going into him. And Jingwei has existed in Smite already. She's a returning god. Her main feature is when you leave base, she flies in the air, and then you have a super fast, like, unblocked movement for about to, I'd say, a third of the lane, if you focus on a lane. But she's received a couple kit upgrades, a couple kit changes just a little bit, to make her more palatable for Smite 2. Plus, obviously, there's the graphical improvements. She now no longer looks like a child, so that's pretty great. Anyway. First up, they have on this list community feedback action items. Basically, they listen to the players, as you do when you're live creating a game, and they have added a bunch of stuff for the players. To start with is the card art, which we already know of. The environmental overhaul, we already know of that. We got that on the Dev Insight stream a while ago. K screen, ability screen, HUD layout. Basically everything, the community feedback action items, this was all covered in the Dev Insight. So that's nothing new. I'm gonna go ahead and skip over it. There might be... Hold on. I don't know if they mention it here. Yeah, 20 plus Smite 1 items. This part is, I think, new? No. They previewed that as well. I remember seeing that. But regardless, Smite 2, closed alpha, will go online, be playable 24/7 on the 27th at 7 a.m. Now, being how Smite is with its releases, we can probably expect that 7 a.m. Eastern to be more of a 10 a.m. Eastern, if we're being fair. Maybe not even until 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern, depending on how much traffic Smite receives, because, let's be honest, it's still high-res. They are not the best at server upkeep, so we'll see what happens. But that is the first of my 2 off days that week, so I'm gonna be jumping right into it. Or I'll be on here bitching about how it's not up yet. We'll see what happens. From that point on, all progress and account item ownership will be permanent. So once it releases, you're gonna keep everything you earn. There might be rollbacks in the case of bugs. They did mention this on their live update on their update show, which I already watched through, kind of skimmed it. I watched the in-con version. But that's really cool. So basically, Smite 2, even though this is still an alpha, it's out. Anything you get now will continue on until the full release. So that's really good. That means you don't have to worry about losing progress, losing cosmetics, losing anything, really. Now, that'll be different if Smite dies, and I'll have a different video for that, just based on some things I've been seeing in the community. I may or may not have mentioned Incon on purpose. But, regardless, players will launch into this version of the game using Smite 2 entry into your stream. This is very important, because everybody has 2 Smite 2s in their library right now, if you bought one of the the Founders Packs. Basically, you have Smite 2, and then you have Smite 2, I think, Open Playtest, or whatever it's called. That is the one that we've been using for their, like, quick like, weekend tests, that sort of thing. No, what you need to have installed will be the Smite 2 game. So this is their first release through the Smite 2 game official Steam, whatever you've got. Yes. Epic. Who uses Epic? I mean, we'll see. But you will need to use a different app than you've been using for the playtests. Guarantee yourself away, purchase Founders Pack, blah, blah, blah. Already have it. There'll be other ways to obtain codes to play, but those will be limited. Obviously, all the high-end streamers, all the high-end content creators will be doing, hey, if you're watching my stream, I'll give out a code or two. So, keep an eye out on Twitch and YouTube for those kind of things. Then we move into the general gameplay updates. A lot of this doesn't really matter. It's just a bunch of graphics, post-processing. They've added, basically they've added more graphical settings so that you can lower it. They've fixed some things so that you're not going to load every single particle in the entire game anymore. Now you're trying to... they're adding a bunch of options for lower end PCs. I'm not going to use any of these because I have a decent PC, and I haven't had any problems running Smite 2. Combat more readable. VFX opacity. You can basically all all ability, attack, etc. effects now have an opacity slider, so you can be like, I don't want to see those. Which for higher end play might help, or just might help for people who get easily distracted by shiny things. Looking at me. Performance updates, accolades, blah, 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 player behavior, report player. That's how it's been. They weren't clear about how this worked initially, so I would see people being like, there's no report in Smite 2. There has been. You just had to, on the post-game screen, click on the player, which they don't say anywhere, and you wouldn't know unless you've tried it or someone told you. Mute options, easy enough. I end up muting a lot of people because I suck at the game and I don't like people yelling at me. Drone policy, behavior... deserter penalty is in effect. That is beautiful to see. You will see far fewer leavers now that there's actually some consequence for it. You can't just quit out and then go back in and start playing again. That said, there will still be those people because people who play online games are just the saltiest losers in the entire world. They will queue for a game that they know is going to go 30 to 40 minutes, give up within the first 5 minutes after an intro, after like one play went wrong. And because there was no penalty for it previously, they jump right back in. There was no consequence. But now there's consequence. That's good. Full matchmaking support for different server regions. That's really good too. I don't know how that was before. Everybody been running off 1 or 2 servers. But this is going to be the real test. Because if one of these servers go down, everybody's going to start loading into another server, which will put extra strain on that server. And then once that server goes down, so things might get a little bit crazy if people start jumping around in the servers. But this is nice because, honestly, playing people closer to your region improves the quality of a match, and also you won't get people being like, hey, I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, they're adding Ranked. Yes, the test season for Ranked. I'm going to be playing a lot of Ranked, probably. So, they're opening. There will be multiple different tiers, as you can see down here. It is going to be absolutely fun advancing through these tiers. I hope I can at least get out of Amber, which... That's weird. I saw some things that were basically going around online, and I guess Amber used to be Clay, or someone just created that as a joke. I'm not sure on that, but I really kind of wanted to see Clay as the 0 SR tier, because it's great. Just like, not only does it work with insults, because you could be like, what are you, Clay, mother... It's such a BM like thing. Like, you're just calling people in that tier mud. I loved it, but I understand why it's not a thing. You don't want players to have that negative experience. I just thought it was funny. But yes, skill rating, they have a whole new system, no more MMR. Basically, you have 2 different kinds of points, SR, or wait, no, never mind. They're taking the MMR and TP and combining it into one called SR. So SR, they believe, will adjust more quickly. It's uncapped, so that means there is no, like, cap that you get to and then you're playing in, like, the Masters tier. No, you keep earning. And at the Masters tier, basically, everybody, the higher your SR, the higher ranked you'll be. And basically, there's a Super Masters. So Demigod is basically Masters. Everything beyond Demigod is just literally your SR level. So the highest SR level will be, like, #1 deity. And, like, they'll have 100 of those, basically. I will never get into that echelon, most likely, because I am not a 21-year-old with a caffeine addiction. I am a 31-year-old with a caffeine addiction, and that is very, very important in determining a player's skill level. This should be called copium. But yes. So... basically, you have your tiers and what you will need. What they have said is that once you get past a tier, and like say you get Ember, you get past 200 SR, you're then in the Bronze tier. Say you lose your first match in Bronze tier after you clear the say your SR 216, and you're like, man, if I lose one more, I'm gonna lose my SR. And I'll get kicked down. I'll get kicked from Bronze back down to Amber. This will be, trust me, in my personal experience, many such cases. But and you will go down to, or well, let's see. Okay, starting as oh, all right. So I was wrong. You don't start at 0. Clay might be the 0. I don't know. Maybe they changed it. Regardless, once you hit 200 SR, you're at Amber. Anything over 200 SR until you hit 800 SR will be Amber. But say you're, like I said, 216, you're like, man, I don't want to drop below Amber. Well, that's good. And then you get into a game and your teammates leave at 2 minutes. First of all, if there's leavers, you won't lose that many points as it was before. But also, in order to downrank, you have to lose a match ahead of the minimum. Basically, these are all minimums. That will then set you to the minimum. So basically, if you would lose 30 points, but you're like 2 points ahead in your tier, like 202, lose 30 SR, it will set you to 200 SR, and then you have to lose another match, and you will be bumped down into the previous tier. So there is sort of a protection there. So there's no longer that curse of, aha, I'm gold, ah, I'm silver, I'm gold, I'm silver, I'm gold, I'm silver. That's basically the Smite 1 ranked experience. So yes. Basically, once you are in Demigod, in order to get to Deity, you must not only get 500 SR past the Demigod rank, you will also need to be in the top 100 players. So Deity are the 100 strongest players in the game. So you see someone, they rock up with a Deity badge, congratulations, you're going to lose that game if they're on the enemy team, or you're going to win that game if they're on your team. But also, if you're getting Deities in your batch, you're probably already pretty good. Or you got massively just screwed. But let's see. The Smite 2, it basically for the rank, they want it to bring in more people, so they improve the party size for queuing for rank. You can queue as a party of 2, 3, or 5. Solo players will only be match made against solo players, so there will no longer be, okay, I'm queuing for Smite, I'm queuing for ranked, I'm by myself, oh look, it's me and a party of 4. Cool. I'm going to get reported this game. Now, instead, it'll either be a team of 2 and 3, or it will be a full team of 5. Or, if you're solo, everybody else is solo. I believe that is very good. I'm for that. Because it means that you're no longer solo queuing into a match where you've got, even if you run into, 2 parties of 2 and you're by yourself, you're getting reported because those 2 parties of 2, it's never their fault. It's the solo player's fault. Because you have no defense, everybody's going to blame you, and everybody else is probably in a call with themselves. So, rip. Regardless, SR Dampney is wild. Basically, this is the last little thing I'll get into with this. Basically, if you queue with someone who's super high rank above you, they will lose less SR for losing with you. But also, if the top and bottom SR... Okay, so basically, this reduction happens whether you win or lose. So if you queue with someone that's way higher ranked than you, you're not getting a bunch of SR, but they're also not losing a bunch of SR. So if they win with you and their team, good, but there's no real point in queuing together if you are in different... But this is only for parties. This is only for parties. There's no sense in hey, I've got a friend in Deity. I'm in Bronze. I'm gonna queue with them. Not only are you going to be massively, unbalanced as far as a team, but you'll also be getting pittance for leveling up. So there's no more, I can drag my friend up. And there's also, if you want to queue ranked with someone who's lower than you, you won't get dragged down as much if you guys start losing. I like the immediate 50% reduction if if a player in the party is ranked demigod or higher. So if they're at the top of the game, it's okay, hold on, you're the best, we're having trouble matching you, you're probably going to be playing down, so less shit for you. Alright, next, user interface, card arts, HUD updates, we've been over all that. Progression customization. Starting this update, progression will not be reset, that's just confirming it again. Currency, legacy gems, double the amount can be used to pay up to 50% of most new Smite 2 content, can be used to 100% unlock Smite 1 classic skins. Gods, including Smite 2 gods, are specific other items. So if on the off chance you are coming into Smite 2 with, Smite 1 experience, but you didn't buy a Founders Pack, so you don't have the God Pass, you can buy gods with your legacy gems. Also, I like that the Smite 1 classic skins, so basically any skin that they're just going to port over into Smite 2, you will be able to 100% buy and reclaim as your own. You are getting a 50% discount on most of the new Smite 2 stuff, but I did see an image going around where, one skin was $20, so I'm I don't know, I'm kind of worried about that. You do get tons of diamonds for free, though, so we'll see. God Mastery tracks. This is the confirm of what I was thinking you do get if you get the premium for, basically, the premium track. You can pay for half of that with your legacy gems. If you pay, it's 900 diamonds. So, you pay half of it with your legacy, that's 450 diamonds. You're going to get 450 diamonds for progressing through that track. So it's like I thought. Basically, you buy 1 diamond's worth of track, you buy 1 track, or 1 mastery diamond track, what have you. You will be able to godmaster every other god in the game as long as you complete 1 at a time, and you will never have to spend any more diamonds. People like me who have the ultimate pack, we're gonna get the packs. We're gonna get the tracks for free. So actually, if you think about that, getting 450 diamonds per track, if you're one of the Founders Packs where you get them automatically, you're going to get a lot of value just based on it. Just based. Like, just base level, you're getting tons of diamonds. Also, daily logins, 100 diamonds spread over 7 days. That's not great, but it is more than they were giving out in gems. So, we'll see. Progress never resets even if you miss a day, so you don't have to play 7 days straight to get your 100 diamonds. You just have to play 7 different days. Which, I like daily logins that do that, because it's like, I don't always want to log in every single day just to claim something. So this will help. I mean, admittedly, if you play 7 days in a row, you immediately start your next 7 days, and boom, ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. Founders Edition screen and upgrades. Yeah, okay, Smite 2 you can upgrade in-game. That's Worshippers, PvP, unlock free mastery levels, unlock mastery ascendant, account XP, blah, 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 skill rating. God unlocks. Throughout the all gods except the most recent releases will be available for... So, for the closed alpha phase, when they release a god, so right now, Mordred and Jingwei, when they release them, they are not on free rotation. Every other god is. So you basically have a pseudo god pass. And again, Founders Pack, you got the real god pass, you'll be able to play them day one. Also, you'll be able to unlock them through diamonds and gems, or legacy gems. So, this isn't really going to affect people at all, because one of the main thing that draws people to Smite a lot of the time is the God Pass, the God Pack. So you just get all the gods. You don't care about unlocking one by one, but somewhere out there in the ether, there's some absolute psychopath that has spent $0 in Smite, but they've been playing it since the start, so they've had nothing but like free stuff. That insane person will come into Smite 2 and not give a shit because they'll have the legacy gems to do it. Ascension passes God Mastery, blah, blah, blah. This is just everything they went over. Cosmetics, skins, trackers, badges, card effects, animation emotes, mastery emotes, yeah, blah, blah. All the cosmetics you're getting. A lot more cosmetics than for Smite 1. Smite 1 had a lot of cosmetics, but you couldn't really see a lot of them. Like, you couldn't really show them off to your friends. Like, the skins and your cards are basically that edit, but you couldn't really see trackers. You'd have to go into players' profiles and look at them. So but with all of this, you'll be able to really, like, express yourself, express your character. With the trackers, you'll be able to flex on everybody else if you're good. Cosmetic rarities, cool. Cosmetic design. This is full rarities. Green, blue, purple, yellow, orange. Okay, they're adopting your standard World of Warcraft stuff. So obtainability, standard, special, rare. Special event may appear for direct purchase or in chests. Rare item only appear on special occasions. Okay, so they still have the pseudo limited, but they're not like boxing themselves in by saying limited. So they will, even if there's a skin that you really couldn't get nowadays, you can, if they release like a limited run item or whatever, they'll always be able to redo it because they haven't said that they're never doing it again, basically. Loadouts. Yes, you can set them at the god. I can't. That's going to be nice, being able to set my skin and everything so I don't have to reselect every time. Player loadouts, Divine Legacy. This is just a East Tier 5. Oh, cool. I'm going to get that Archon Thanatos from the very first season of Smite 1 Worlds. Whew. You know that's going to be my avatar. I'm going to be like, yes, fools. I have been here since the beginning. It's going to be awesome. I am steadily becoming a convert to the strawberries and cream. Alright, Conquest, Overhaul. This is just the same style overhauls that they were talking about before. They've kind of changed it. Chaos is more chaosy, etc. Starting gold increase. This is going to affect every person, every build. Like 1250 to start. That's like, you could get a tier 2. Like, there will be tier 2 starts, and I will probably be one of those tier 2 starts. Tower changes. All tower health and damage is getting increased. Towers are going to rip you apart now. Like, look at this. Tier 1 tower damage, 150 to 215. What is that? 50, 65 more damage. That is insane. But, to be fair, the towers were feeling a little papery. To be fair. And like, there was some definite, like, dive nonsense going on. Like, I should never, as a mage, be under my tower and getting dove before, like, by, like, a level 5 or something, and just eliminated, and that 5 gets away scot-free. That should not happen. It does, especially in Smite 1 a lot more now. But, towers are tankier. Gold bounty, blue bounty. Oh, they've reduced the... So, towers are not only tankier, but they're also less important. I mean, obviously they're towers. They're always going to be important. But you're not getting, like, as much of a snowball off the tower gold. Phoenix changes. Phoenix increased. Phoenix damage it. Yep. I like this. This is going to slow the game down. I love anything that slows down the game, because I like that slower, the slower pace that I felt at Smite 2. Dual lane. So a couple of lanes are getting wider, but they've also like moved some of the some of the camps to, like you had those extras that were on the side. The extras have been moved in, but the lanes are wider. So we'll see how that works. It'll definitely feel bigger. I'll like that. I'll like it if it feels bigger. Fire Giant, bigger. Gold Fury changes. Ancient Fury will now spawn whenever it's defeated 3 times, regardless of which team. So before you had to kind of snowball, and your team would eventually get the Ancient Fury. That's the one that disables all of the stuff. Like, it disables towers, Phoenix, etc. I don't think it disables the Titan. But the Ancient Fury, now the 4th Fury spawn will always be the most contested. Because that is a major, like, just a major objective. Like, disabling your opponent's towers and phoenixes is insane. So, pay attention when you're playing. When the 3rd phoenix goes down, ward, be ready. Solo, or wait, I forget which side it's on. I'm pretty sure it's on duo side, so solo, kind of start looking at moving over, baby. There's no TP, there's no teleport, so just be ready to get on that. Because if the opposing team is snowballing and they get the Ancient Fury, your stuff's going down. Your stuff's going down. But also, if you can sneak it, and then like start maybe split pushing a little on these towers when they're down, it can also bring you back. It can bring you back. New camp oracles. The oracles are back. They give that they give the unremovable ward. They're basically the ward that's always there. There's now also on the Gold Fury, if you kill the oracles, there will be a slight glow of blue, or whatever team color you are. There'll be a slight glow of the team that's killed it. So there's also a little bit of a visual warning that, oh, the enemy team has gotten that. So if I take a step in there, I'm going to alert them. So you kind of have a little bit of warning now. Oracles, the Queen Naga, that gives the Naga Salt buff. The Naga Salt buff, or Naga Assault buff. So she spawns on one side. It's random. She's always available. She'll always be visible on the thing. So there's 2 on each side that she can spawn on. Once she's spawned on that side, her next spawn will always be on the other. So she spawns, she sits for 45 seconds, and then she makes her way to the other side. Once she gets there, she rests 45 seconds and goes back to the other side. So, when you attack her, she basically creates her own, like, every camp has that leash range, that circle that they have to sit. She creates her little circle. And underneath her health bar will be a meter saying leash distance or something. As that goes down, if it goes out, that means you've leashed her out of bounds. she will stop targeting you. But it will also increase if you get closer to the center of wherever basically wherever you engage her, that's where the circle is, keep her there. She will always attack the person closest to, she will always attack the closest person to her. So you don't have to exit her least range to get her to forget about you. You just have to back up and have someone go in front of you, then she'll start attacking that person. So, when she dies, she drops the Naga Assault buff, which is definitely going to be called the Naga Salt, because you always got to get that salt buff. It drops from defeating, dealing damage to an objective or jungle boss, spawns 2 Naga soldiers that assist you. So, towers, phoenixes, jungle bosses. When you deal damage to them, you summon 2 Naga soldiers. So, they will only attack the target you initially hit, so they might lock onto something small. They'll never, like, turn on an enemy god or what have you. They'll despawn if the player is defeated or the target. There's a 20-second cooldown before you can summon another set of soldiers. The way they previewed this, it looked really nice, because the 20-second cooldown starts as soon as they're summoned. So, let's say you're doing Gold Fury. You go in, you start the Gold Fury. You go to, you start taking some damage, you back out of the Gold Fury. They will, the Gold Fury will start attacking the Nagas and not lose the leash. Then you step back in and start attacking again. Even if those Nagas are defeated, as long as the 20-second cooldown has gone away, basically, as soon as they're down, another 2 will spawn. So you could definitely solo more stuff with this, but 20 seconds is long enough to where you'd have to be really calculating about it. And if you're taking 20 plus seconds to kill a thing, you need help. You need help with it. Just because the enemy's going to show up. Naga Soldier based on the owner's level, so Snowball can make it really good. Effective dice. I don't know what obtain Gold Fury twice. I guess that's like some kind of buff from the Gold Fury. 180 seconds, so it's a standard buff. So the Naga Assault buff will be very, very good. Alright, so Arena versus AI. So they're adding bots. Adding regular Arena in. Oh wait, I mean they did that last time. Again, increased starting gold, Battlecry active. So yeah, consumable slots, etc. Those have changed. We went over that in the dev insight. Hot Streak, they've changed the gifts, they've changed Hot Streak, etc. Alright, down to the new gods. Mordred. He's a physical damage dealer. Mixed strength and int on basic attack scaling, melee basic attacks, light tank base stats. So he is a warrior, essentially. His basic attack is is awesome. He is a 4-hit chain. So he has one sword called Morning. The Morning damage scaling is standard basic attack. 100% strength, 20% int. Then he attacks with Clarence. Clarence damage is 100% intelligence plus 60% strength. So, you could have an intelligence, a major intelligence-based basic attack mixed with it is mixed with the strength scaling, so essentially his attack swing goes 1, 7, 5, 7, 5, 1. So it's basically 1, whoo, whoo, whoo. And it is Morning, Clarent, Morning. So if you're going intelligence, you want that initial, then you want 2, use an ability, get the initial, Clarent, and that's going to be your basic cycle. He has another sort of mix-up type move, which is really fighting game feeling. So, Wrath of the Forsaken Paralysis hit enemies to gain Wrath. That's basically King Arthur's ability. You gain points to use your ultimate. Alright. After using an ability or attacking, your interact key, so that's the space, usually if you're playing on PC, becomes a dash. So, it deals physical damage and knocks back the first enemy god hit. So, as you're mixing it up on the... Say you jungle's going to be crazy, because you're going to jump out, probably hit with an ability, or you probably use his Blood Rage, which we'll get to in a second. Attack, probably dash in, and then ability. So, well, you'll most likely attack, or even just you'll hit them with the 1, and then boom. And that'll be part of your chain. So that's going to be really interesting to see. It doesn't say what the cooldown is, but it does have a cooldown, so you're not going to be like, swing, dash, swing, dash, swing, dash. And I'm not fully sure about that, but essentially he is using the forbidden 5th ability with his little shoulder charge. So that's cool. It's just a really unique passive. He just adds in a little bit of mix-up to his combos, a little bit of... he can interrupt his attack chain with it. So, like, you rush in, morning, clear it, boom, interrupt, morning, clear it. So, that's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see the attack chain optimization. It is going to get very complicated, but someone will do it, and it'll be cool. His first strike. So, his 1 is you strike twice with the stars. First slash, dealing base plus 45% strength physical damage to enemies in front of you. Then slam, base plus 65% strength physical damage. So total 110% strength scaling on this ability. I know that isn't exactly how it works, but still, that's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Enemies in a line and either dealing base plus protections bonus damage or healing base plus protections based on your basic attack chain. So, if your next... It all depends on what your next basic attack will be. If it's with morning, it will do the first, and it will do the bonus damage. If your next attack will be Clarent, you're doing the healing. So you'll always at least want to hit with your 1. And, like, if you're intelligence, you want basic Cruel Strikes. That will get you the healing, which is going to be amazing. And did you notice its base? It scales with protections. This is something they've said they're going to do. All tank class, even if they're light tank, will have protection scaling on some of their abilities. Everybody's Vamana now. I see the big baby sitting in the corner, arms crossed. He's angry. He's mad. He's like, what? You think my passive is a joke? Yes, your passive is a joke. Because now everybody gets it. So, cool. And it is your total protections. It does combine your magic and physical protections for the scaling. So, you can potentially just build tank. Build him tank. And then you kind of like... yeah, just build him tank. Just build him tank. Rush in, do swords, deal lots of damage, and just be awesome. Okay, so his next ability. Move on. Blood Rage. It is a circle damage, so all around you. And then it's an attack and movement speed stim. And while you're buffed, you have Executioner passive. So while you are buffed, you are your basic attack hits reduce their physical protections and increase your own physical protections. So insanity. So jump in, hit them with 1 basic attack, hit Blood Rage, hit them with another basic attack, hit Cruel Strikes, and then finish your basic attack chain, and they're probably dead at that point. Because not only are you buffing yourself, that will buff the either healing or extra damage. Oh, he's such a complicated character. This is very complicated. You're going to have to really pay attention to where you are in your chains, or you will get tripped up and end up doing pittance for damage, or you won't get the heal when you need it. And I really like it. I really like this guy. But yeah, it's just your standard... Well, I mean, it's not your standard stim, because a lot of other stims don't actually deal extra damage, or they don't deal damage initially. But this, you're going to be like, rah! Strength plus int scaling attack. And then he has his Severing Slice, which is his full int damage. 50% int physical damage, slows enemies. And the center is a very thin line. It's like these 2 hands, and then the center thing is like, eh. But if you do hit the center of the Severing Slice, those targets will bleed, and it is strength scaled bonus damage. So, and that triggers as they move. Which is really nice, because it's like, oh, you thought you could get away? Die to bleed damage. That's pretty dope. I like that. Because, like, the bonus physical, on top of all that, you just kind of go, oh, you thought you were going to get away. Also, it's a projectile. So even if someone's running, you're like, what are you gonna do? You're slowed. You can either it's basically you have to fight him at that point. You have to turn and fight. If you get hit by this, you are slowed and bleeding. Unless you're like Mercury and you're like, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna ult. I'm gonna get out of here faster than you can kill me. You're locked into fighting as soon as you get hit by that. Now onto his ultimate, which, as I said, works just like Arthur's. Basically, with his passive, Wrath, as you gain your ability Heart Slash, or your ultimate Heart Slash, 40 Wrath. Your ultimate Pursue the Weak is 80 Wrath. So Heart Slash is probably what's going to be used more, in my opinion, not just because it is available sooner, but also just because of what it does. So, you deal base plus 70% strength physical damage to an area in front of you. It's like a very wide, just like, rectangle you shoot out, basically. If you hit an enemy god, they become rooted. You then channel to siphon their life force, gaining a health shield and healing over time for int, while dealing int physical damage to that enemy. So, this can hit more than one enemy god. They don't say it here, but they showed you can hit more than one enemy god as long as they're close enough, because it is going to stop on, it's not a travel through. It's going to stop on that first one. But if you happen to hit multiple gods with that line as it's pushing out, you're gonna hit multiple. So they get rooted, they kind of get covered in this blood thing, and then there's blood siphoning to you. So not only is this gonna destroy your enemies in team fights, but you're gonna get that healing, so you're gonna be able to sustain longer, start triggering off with your cruel strikes for the healing. Mordred is going to be a sustain god. He's definitely going to be a jungler. But I also see him being an amazing support. He's going to be like, he's got that knock up on his dash, he's got the slow, he's got the root on his ultimate, which again, his ultimate is not a mana ability, it's a stacks ability. And then there's his last one, which is honestly, it's a really good engage, but I can't see myself ever using it. I mean, I can. It'd be really cool to just come out of the jungle with it. But if you jump into a teammate, the main problem is you are stunning the enemies. But then you launch them into the sky, dealing damage. So basically, he crosses his swords in front of him, and then he starts... No, I think he crosses his arms, and then he just starts dashing. Terrain... towers, everything just disappears, and you can just see across the map in this circle in front of you. So you just run through everything. And if it ends while you're in something, it will wait until you're out of the object in order to, exit the ability. But if you hit an enemy with it, and again, this has a range, so if you hit one enemy and there's other enemies nearby, you'll also hit them. You stun them, and then you do this kind of like sweeping sword as you leap into the air and knock them all up. So it's not necessarily Arthur's like ching 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 cha, boom. It's more of a, and it's just major disruption. Gives your team a second to either get ahead of the enemy if they're chasing or get away if they're running. You just gotta be really careful, because while they're launched, I don't think your allies can hit them. So be careful about, like, saving your enemies from your allies' abilities. But honestly, Heart Slash is just so good in a team fight. I can't see you keeping the stacks long enough to get a Pursue the Weak off, honestly. But we'll see on that. Okay, so that's Mordred. He's a beautiful light tank. He's going to be an awesome warrior, support, jungler. Maybe solo. I can see solo. He's got that little bit of sustain makes him, like, soloable. I think his split will make it so that solo, he does less damage than, like, a Bellona while trying to get his heals off. So, I don't know. But also, he's a new god. He's going to be busted for, like, the first month that he's out, because that's how Hi-Res does god releases. He's going to be busted when he comes out. Because they release busted, then they scale them back before the next god comes out, then they release busted again, then scale them back. That's just how Hi-Res does it. Alright, new god, Jingwei. So, returning god, really. Alright, so the new features. These are new updates that they have changed from her Smite 1 version. Persistent Gust. That is her circle that she throws out, deals an initial damage, knocks enemies up. She can get knocked up. If she gets knocked up in it, she gets an attack speed buff. But now, she has a second circle on that doesn't hit enemies, but she can get the buff from it. So she no longer has to knock herself up in order to get the buff. She can throw it down on the enemy, walk, get the buff, maybe like stay in the side of the buff, and attack like that. Which is really good, because not only does it give you that zoning, but you don't have to knock yourself up, and therefore you don't have to like put yourself in that non-attacking stance. You can keep the pressure up while getting the buff. So that's really cool. Secondly, another really good improvement. Explosive bolts. That's her stim. It basically gives her the big arrow on her gun, and then she shoots. They hit, they explode, they have a higher crit chance. Now has charges. At rank 1, it's 1 charge. At rank 2, 2 charges. At rank 4, it goes to 3 charges. Each charge gives you the same exact explosive bolt. So you still get the 3 hit. You get the 3 shots when you activate it. And then when you use those 3 shots, you can activate it again to get 3 more. Or if you use it, you have to use it after the 3rd shot, because if you use it, shoot once, use it again, it's just going to refresh you 2-3. You'll never be able to get it. You can't like pop it 3 times and get 9. You have to pop it, boom, 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 pop it, boom, 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 pop it, boom, 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 which isn't going to be that hard. I really like that, because her explosive bolts was like, I pop it, I explode a couple minions, and I'm useless for the next however long it takes. Agility's dash now is left-right turning available while she's dashing. So basically her little like whee, now has like you can turn while you're doing it. So you're not just going in a straight line now. And the craziest thing that I don't know about, airstrike can now hit a second time. So airstrike, you launch, you go ba 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 ba, then you're in the air and you choose where to land. Now if you wait, I believe it's 2 seconds, she will ba 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 ba, and then choose a spot to land over here. So if you're not chasing, you can go boom, carpet bomb an area. Then back to boom, carpet bomb the area, and either get away or re-engage. So airstrike is now a lot of movement. And there's also that mix-up, just, oh, are they going to come back? Are they going to stay up there? How am I going to get out of it? That sort of thing. It is long enough, from what it seemed when they were showing it off in-game, to be able to get out of the like range, because there's no, you can't like move where you're gonna. It's just straight line, and then it'll straight that same line back. You can't be like whoop and then turn and then boom, which would be honestly that'd be a little broken, because you'd end up just using it as a massive jump. But that's a really good. I don't know about this last bit. I think there's going to be a lot of new players who play her, and they're going to hesitate for a second when they're forward. They're going to explosive back, and then the enemy's going to get away. But in the hands of a pro, or people who really like that area movement, Jingwei is going to feel beautiful. Like, the extra agility on agility is going to be awesome. The more explosive bolts will mean she remains relevant longer in a team fight, or just destroy in lane. So you might actually like pump up the explosive bolts to level 2, and then like, because persistent gust is her main clear, but getting the explosive bolts, you might just get your 1 for persistent gust initially, and then go 2 ranks into explosive bolts, and then go back to persistent gust as far as leveling up go, just to get that extra charge, because it might be relevant. All right, so physical, strength, ability, scaling, range, basic attacks, basic that, rapid reincarnation, passive, she flying to the skies, yes, yes, yes. Persistent gust, same thing, creative, knocks up enemies. She works the exact same. She creates a circle, it knocks up enemies. She can knock up herself if she dashes while in the air, so she knocks herself up, then she can use agility. Or if just some enemy like knocks you up, you can use agility and get out and like move. So, next 3 basic attacks. Enhanced critical strike. Ability can have multiple charges. Yes, 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 yes. Wonderful. Dash forward and dash back. It does the same damage, so this is potentially a massive, just a lot of damage to an objective, or like the Titan. Because hitting twice for that, if you like go ability based instead of like ability crit, you could do some insane damage. Alright. Now they go on the wrap-up. They have confirmed which gods will only deal physical damage. and which gods will only deal magical damage. Because as if you remember, they had gods dealing both magical and physical, and brainlets were complaining because they couldn't read like 20-ish characters and figure out what they do. So now they're like, now they want them to instantly recognize, oh, on her it's physical. I build physical defense items. Because they're dumb. I personally, I still don't like this change. I think like this is just brainlet nerfing, and you should never nerf for brainlets. Let's see, God scaling types. Scaling, they kept it, so that's really good. Gods can still buy all items. We'll see how long that lasts. I'm hoping it'll last for all of Smite 2, because I really like the ability to really create some weird builds. So that's cool. Now they're all like mixed into strength, intelligence, and mixed. Like, intelligence only scaling gods, sure you can build. Like, I'm still at some point going to build the Cuckoo Noodle Blaster, where I'm just going to build an attack speed, attack damage Cuckoo. And that will be horrible. I will get flamed by my teammates, probably reported and banned for it. But I can't wait to do it. Then, of course, we have some God Polish coming in, as they do most paid. This is a massive just list of... None of this is actual balance. It's all just, we've changed this ability for this. Like, let's see, Kukulkan. Where Kukulkan. Yeah, VX, so they have adjusted his color schemes. Focus now more on Gray Wind with Cyan Electricity. So he's going to be a bit less colorful overall in his abilities. Like, the Whirlwind will probably just be a big old gray thing now, with like sparks inside of it, which might look cooler, might look worse, but it's just to reduce the clutter. Basic attack, they adjusted the cast sound to remove the yeah. Fixed an issue, targeter was incorrectly, yeah. Slipstream. I feel like I got by this. Wait, no, that's Zephyr. Never mind. That's not Whirlwind. Yep, deploy sound, complete rework. Basically, all of the cleanup down here is all just... Where is it? Okay, where do I start? There we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. God balance, because that entire section above this is massive. Like, if I just... Like, God polish from here all the way down to here. They've just been polishing them gods, making it really good. So, next, so we have the God balance. We obviously, a lot of this balance is going to be the damage type being changed to match what the god is. Base damage increase, damage change. So, yeah, scaling. They've returned Anubis to a pure magical instead of having that one little bit of strength scaling on his Mummify, which is... All of these are boring. These are so boring. Ares being a pure magical god now. Oh, look, he's just a tank again. He was so cool because he was the war god. He dealt physical, but then he had that fire that dealt magical. So he was... it frustrates me to no end. But regardless, all these damage changes are just... They're pulling them in line with the rest of the balance. So, like, Athena now, she gets protection scaling on her abilities. Preemptive strike, damage change, physical and magical. Physical protections that you gain increased to a set now, plus you get physical protection scaling. You get magical protection scaling, confound. Taunt duration scales based on your protections that you have. Bacchus, physical to magical. Chug, now you get even more physical protection, so there's a bit more incentive to level it beyond 2. Belly flop now does 85 strength plus protection, so it's pure magical damage, which, holy crap, that's gonna be a lot of damage. Okay, so Bacchus is really good for my point right now. This change from removing the physical magical damage split has now, and adding this protection sort of scaling in, is now what is it? It's just I can't put it into proper word. Well, no. It's boring. It's samey. It's boring. Bacchus is now, you're not going to be able to go too far outside the box. You're going to be, hey, Bacchus, why aren't you building all the protections? Bacchus, why are you building even a little bit of strength? You scale off protections now. Build protections. Build protections. Your chug. Yeah, that always gave based on protections, obviously. But, Bacchus, why are you building that way? It's going to increase the amount of brainlet comments that go, why are you building this way? You have to build this way. There's no other way to build it. If you don't build this way, you're trolling. You're trolling because you don't build this way. Why don't you build a good way? And I hate that. I like being able to build whatever the hell I want to do, whatever the kind of build I want. And to prevent me from doing that, fuck you. Or if you tell me I can't do that, I'm going to do it even harder. Wait, hold on, pause. But regardless, still, my main complaint, the removal of the physical and magical damage splits on gods is boring, awful, I hate it. Put it back high res. Yes, god balances, blah, blah, blah. Items. Alright. Players of Smite 2 consumable slots dedicated to consumable items. These will not interfere with your active items. These slots will use the same default keybind, so yeah, you'll be able to redo. Free ward with cooldown will no longer be granted to players at the start of the match. Fuck. We were so good. We were so good. We were doing so good with the free ward. Now the wards will be so bad. It's, oh my god. Well, that's unfortunate. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So, starter items exist. New relics exist. Look up the patch notes. I have gone far over the time that I had allotted for myself, and now I need to hurry in order to get to work on time. Thank you all for watching. I hope you like it. I can't wait for Smite 2, despite me having a couple complaints. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. I can't